finish up Hancock 2011 here with Ryan and Jim Kasten here, and Coach, I think you mentioned this at the Hall of Fame induction last fall, but tell me again what it's like being able to work with your son and every day in and out and work with these young kids.
Right. I think it's a dream of every father or parent to be able to have a close and great relationship with their children. And ever since Ryan was 5th grade and I started bringing him to the practices and to the games and the meets, he always said he wanted to coach with me, and it's really a rewarding thing, and it really helped me at home. My wife went from coaching being the devil's work until her son did it, and it was God's work. So it's been a really great experience, and I wouldn't trade 1 second of it for anything.
Yeah. Well, tell me, Ryan, what it was like running for him, and then now being alongside coaching with him.
I mean, it was great running for Dad. I mean, we butted our heads like most fathers and sons did. But once I got to a certain age and realized that he knows what he's talking about. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. There's only a couple people in your life that you trust to the very end, and your dad's one of them. And the fact that I get to work with them, and it's just fantastic. We think a lot alike, and it's just made it a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think it's a neat thing. For the simple fact, there's not a lot of, I don't know of any other coaches that aren't fathers.
Well, I just, obviously your parents have big influence on you, but being able to share that same passion that and day in and day out, man, I'm jealous of you guys there.
Well, it's a motivator because I know when I go to practice, if I'm not on, I know he's going to be on.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he feels the same way. So you get to the point where I don't want to let my dad down because he's counting on me, and Dad's probably thinking I don't want to let my son down because he's counting on me. So it really keeps you going each day, even on your worst days at practice or in meets. When the kids don't perform well, you still got to bring your A game every day. So
Well, tell me about this year's team. I know the guys won last year at state, and the girls were runner-up. And tell me about this year, bringing back some talented kids. But tell me how things have gone and what your outlook is the rest of the way.
The girls are, they're running really. They're starting to really run good now. They're starting to come around. Our number 3 girl from last year is struggling a little bit, and right now she's our number 5 girl, and our number 2 girls has finally moved back into that spot, Caitlin's running well in the front. But I'm really pleased with Cheyenne MacArthur, our only senior, who's really starting to get her act back together. I mean, she had a really good freshman season, struggled a little bit her sophomore and junior year, and now she's really competing well and showing some leadership. And then we got a little sophomore, Sarah Cook, that kind of was in the wings, in the shadows last year.
Yeah.
We knew she could do it, and this year something clicked in her that said, hey, I'm as good as these other girls, and I'm going to get up and run. She was 8th, I think, here today. So I'm real pleased with that. And our number 4 girl from last year is getting healthy again. She got to race today for the first time in 3 weeks. So, her time wasn't great, but this is the first stress thing she's done in a couple weeks. So I look for her to get back in it. She basically was our second best runner all summer long in workouts. So I think she's coming around.
Yeah. Ryan, you said things didn't go exactly how you wanted. Tell me about how things went today, and then overall how things are going.
The season's going well for us. I mean, this group of boys, we have 13 on the team, and since we started running in June, we didn't have one kid miss a day unless they were on vacation. I mean, not for anything. I mean, committed, hardworking, focused, want to be there, desire to win, to keep that tradition going, and it's all there. It's just we lack experience in certain areas. We're really our number 4 guy coming back from last year, Cody Ocker. He's a senior, has got a stress fracture in his foot, and has been bad on that. Hasn't got the race. And he's really kind of the missing link, kind of the leader of our pack. We have 2 good front runners in Ryan Jackson and Jake Kaufman. And then we have our 3rd runner, Drake Smeltzer, who's probably going to be top 10. And then we have a pack of about 5 kids that I think by the end can run sub-18. But they're all inexperienced. They've never ran in big races. They've always been JV runners. Some of them are freshmen and sophomores, and the one freshman, this was his first 5K ever. They just don't have leadership, and that's that role that really Cody fills. And we just haven't had that because of that injury, but we're hoping to get him back in a couple weeks. Now with the kids that we have that have been running, Austin Haas and Adam Maxwell and Tristan Mock and TJ Jenkins, those kids have been running well, especially in practice, but in races they run like inexperienced runners. They run great and they have a bad day, and they run great and they have a bad day. And we're just hoping that in 6 weeks we do our job. And
they all have a good day.
They all have a good day. But it's nice when you have an off day and you have young kids step up like we did today, and you still win. That makes it exciting for the future. And it makes it exciting in the sense that the kids can think, hey, if I'm off, it's not all on me.
Somebody else can
succeed.
We
got guys.
Right.
It's a team effort. Not one of us is going to win it or lose it. We're going to do it together.
Right. So. And tell me, I felt so blessed running at JC, the tradition, the history that Coach Marshall talked about, and Caitlin had mentioned that you guys the other day, talked for an hour before practice, about the tradition, the Herky and the.
Well, Ryan's working on his master's for his administrative degree, so usually he does the talking anymore. But he was on the computer doing some stuff, and he said, "Go out and talk." So I just started talking, and we started from day one of Coach Willie starting the program back in the early '70s. Coach Thomas was our junior high coach, was one of those pioneer runners, I call them. And I just started naming names, the first great ones that were all state, telling stories. As I came through, and I said, "You guys remember this story about this guy?" And some did, some didn't, but some say, "Yeah, I remember. Tell it again, Coach." And we got our 20-something junior high kids sitting there, all wide-eyed and mouths open, like, "Well, who's this?" And trying to, and you think about it, and we started off with, if Peyton Manning, I said, "Do you think Peyton Manning?" Some of them didn't even know who that was. I said, do you think he knew who Joe Montana was?
Right.
And did you think he followed that guy's career and knew what he had done before he came along? Do you think a guy like Sam Bradford knows, what Peyton Manning has done? I said, the same thing here. I said, you need to know what Brian Stotler did. You need to know what Jeff Felder and Skeeter Rankins and Benji Dove and Leslie Dugan and Becky Kennedy, and on and on. And I went through 40 years of cross country at Herculaneum, and then I ended with, and someday, and I looked at the littlest 7th grade boy, and I said, "Zach Lamb, we're going to be talking about you here in 20 years." And those kids, they really got a kick out of that, and I think they do.
Right.
I think when you talk about a chain of events, a heritage, and what you leave behind and what you take with you, and you're just one link of chain. And we have so many past runners that come to meets or we'll see them at gas station or emails, and they'll come to our banquets
every week.
And they, how'd you do? How's Kaufman doing? How's Jackson doing? How's Fisher doing? And they know these kids, and they, and we'll go to meets, and some of the kids, a guy will come up and they know who those old guys are.
Right.
We got a 50-year-old Brian Stotler with a beard. He don't look anything like he did in the picture on the wall, but. That's Brian Stotler, and Leslie Dugan actually 2 years ago flew in from some job thing, I think in Arizona or Florida, flew in, got in a car and drove to the state meet because she had promised those girls the year before she'd be there.
Man, that's special.
4th in a row.
Yeah, when they won their 4th in a row, to tie what she had done when she was in high school.
It's even something as simple as those shorts. It's most people think those are the silliest thing in the world, but our kids, it's a sense of pride. I had a young man. He's a sophomore, and he really stepped up and really was the reason the boys wanted him. And he was our 4th guy, and he's maybe been our 10th guy in practice on his best days. He really stepped up, and when I told him last week, because he had worked so well during the week in practice, and with Cody being hurt, we moved him up to the varsity team. He got those candy striped shorts, and he is ecstatic. I talked to his mom this morning. His mom is like, that's the very first thing he showed me when I get home. This is a 16-year-old boy is getting excited like a little kid on Christmas Day for a pair of
candy striped shorts.
And it just goes back, we tell the story of why Coach Willie brought those in and the tradition, the history behind them, and we only let the varsity kids wear them, so it's kind of an incentive, a reward for being in one of those top spots. It's it's just things like that, and we talk about when we have pictures and you know, we have record boards and we show the kids the banners, and you know, it's really neat.
Yeah. Well, you guys have done a fabulous job, and hopefully hopefully the rest of the season we'll have some great weather like this, and
this was awesome.
Everybody will stay healthy.
Hancock did a good job. They did a good job running the meet. Rich Schilling always does a good job with TRXC, and you know, we're glad to be here. And we, you know, there's other meets we could go to and like to go to, but I don't know that we'll ever not come here.
Yeah.
You know, it's part of our tradition. Is, you know, it was
49 years, I guess, this meet. So
it'll be the 50th. We're talking about making a big commemorative deal out of it. And, so it'll be fun.
Yeah.
You know.
I got a question. What's this going to be posted on?
We